On this week's episode, I'm joined by Fatima Lopes. Fatima is a world-famous fashion designer, and her work has been featured in magazines and on runways all over the world, including Paris Fashion Weeks for more than 20 years in a row. And she's Portuguese. We discuss, amongst other things, why she's so very proud of Portugal, some of her greatest achievements, and how being back home inspires her to create beautiful things. Welcome back, or welcome to another episode of Portugal, The Simple Life. I'm really delighted to be joined here by Fatima Lopes. Fatima, all the way from Lisbon, thank you so much for joining us, and how are you?
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm quite well. The times are not the best, but we try to live the life as best as possible. So I can say it's really a pleasure to be here and to be able to talk about my country, which I really love. So I'm delighted to talk to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Fatima, for our Portuguese listeners, you don't need any introduction, but for our listeners from around the world, maybe you just want to tell us a little bit about you and who you are and a little bit about you.
Well, my name is Fatima Lopes. I'm a fashion designer. Well, I've dedicated my whole life to fashion. I was actually born in Madeira Island, and I came to Lisbon. I chose to live in Lisbon for around 30 years. So 30 years ago, I decided to leave a beautiful island where I was really happy. But I had this dream of fashion, so I've decided to travel to Lisbon. And well, from that day on, I continued to go always back to my island where I have all my family and so fantastic memories. But in Lisbon, I've created my business. And I'm a fashion designer already for 29 years in Portugal, but also a little bit around the world. Well, in Paris for many years already. So, fashion is not only my profession, my job, but also my passion. So this is who I am, Fatima Lopes, someone who really loves her life, which is fashion, let's say, not 24 hours a day, but I can say like 12 to 15 hours a day.
It's a good portion of the day dedicated to one thing. So that's good. Madeira is a beautiful place. It was my first experience of Portugal was Madeira and Funchal. What do you want people to know about your terra, your land?
Well, Madeira is a paradise, really. I decided to move because I had these big dreams of, even Portugal is small for me. So Madeira, of course, it was very small because I had these dreams of Paris Fashion Week and all of that. So Madeira was not for me, but it is for me to spend all my vacations, whether it's summer or Christmas, the end of the year. Madeira is, I really can say that I know many islands. I know a little bit about the world. I've been traveling my life. But Madeira, I think it's the most complete island I know because you can have the mountains, the sea, the city, which is very, very modern. You have this hotels, beautiful 5 stars. If you want the paradise you can find in Madeira. So it is really, I'm a fan of Madeira, of course, because I have my family there, but not only for that. For me, I have to go like 3, 4, 5 times a year to Madeira because I need that to my positive energies. I need that. I need those and the people also. So I really advise who don't know Madeira to go there because for sure you will all fall in love for the island.
Yeah, so there are a few things that Madeira is very well known for. You've got poncha, which is delicious and
Yes.
dangerous and very
It
dangerous.
is very, very, very strong. It's so sweet. So you drink, you feel like, oh, this is soft. Well, it's not like that, but it's very good. And the wine, Madeira wine.
Madeira wine, bolkaku,
Yeah. Bolducaco is fantastic. Well, uh,
delicious.
it's good that I don't live there because I love that. So we
Yeah.
shouldn't.
My first trip to Funchal, I think the day after we arrived, there was a festa in one of the nearby villages. And that was the first time I had bolducaku. And I fell in love with
With
this
Fatima,
bread. With stada, of course,
Fatima
yes.
and Bolducaco, yes.
Yeah, I have a family that are Medellin, so I experienced stada very early on. Even in South Africa, I already had experienced stada, but then bolducaku in Madeira was something special, and stada in the little forest roads, you know, with those barbecue areas on the side of the roads in the forest. That was amazing. It was so the
Yes,
Levada. Yeah, the Levada walks as well is something
yes.
that Madeira is well known for. And then the most amazing New Year's Eve
Oh,
is
that's for sure. I spent there. Let's say probably I didn't spend the end of the year in Madeira, let's say like a half a dozen times. All the rest of my life I've spent there because it's really the best fireworks you can find. But it's not only the fireworks, it's the Christmas feelings and the way people live Christmas and the end of the year. It's a party with smoking and the long dresses. So everybody dresses very, very chic for the end of the year. This is really something very special for everybody, locals and foreigners. Everybody join together for this magic event, and that's really that's real. And that's something that only if I cannot go. Once, you know, I went once to New York for the New Year's Eve. Everybody used to say that it was amazing. And so I had to go to see with my eyes. And honestly, it was an experience, but it was not magical as Madeira. And I went once to Brazil also, and several times in Lisbon, but it's not the same. Madeira is really the best place to spend the end of the year.
yeah, it's amazing. It's the best place I've ever been for New Year's in terms of the fireworks, the feeling, the like you said, the spirit of everyone's so happy. It's just a beautiful time of the year. It's a beautiful
And
place.
it is at the Guinness Book once. It was considered the best in the world.
Okay, wow.
A few years ago.
I can believe it. I can believe it.
Yeah, it is. It's true.
What do you want people to know about Madeira? I mean, that maybe something that people don't know already.
Maybe the kindness of the people. So everybody is so warm. But that's something that in Portugal, all over Portugal, you can find that. Portuguese know how to be warm with the foreigners. And in Madeira, there's something special because most everybody speaks English. Even when you get in a taxi and everybody will speak English. You go to the market and the people will speak English. So Madeira is really everybody's used to receive foreigners, tourists, and it's a place where somebody from outside will feel at home, because this is normal for Madeira people to accept and to live with everybody. So there is not us and the others. No, when you go to Madeira, you will feel like you belong there, and everybody will be warm. And this is something that you don't find in many places. I work in Paris for 21 years. I've been part of Paris Fashion Week. I've never seen in this 21 years of Fashion Week French people being like Portuguese people. That's a big difference. So I can say that probably the most important thing we have, besides the beauty of the island and the sun and the sea and the forest and all of that, let's say that the kindness and the sympathy of the Portuguese and Madeira people.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's a beautiful. Our biggest export is people.
Yeah, the smile.
The smile, yeah. Well, I mean, tell us a little bit about your career, Fatima. You've built this amazing career around fashion. Tell us about the early days. Tell us what you're most proud of. Just tell us a little bit about how it all started and where things are at now.
Well, I have almost 29 years of career. I've started in Lisbon. It was my dream to start to be part of this world, but I never imagined that what happened in this so long, almost 30 years already, 20, let's say 29 for now. I still have time for the 30. So I started in Lisbon, and then suddenly I started to think about Paris. That was really a dream, almost impossible, because never a Portuguese had tried. So I've decided to travel, to see, to test my capacities, and beyond everything I could imagine. 21 years ago, I entered the impossible Paris Fashion Week. So I was the first Portuguese being part of Paris Fashion Week. And I've been there for 21 years. So I've done 43 fashion shows. So it's twice a year for the last 21 years. And of course, so many things happened. I was talking about Madeira being in the Guinness Book with the fireworks. I'm in the Guinness Book for the first in the history bikini in diamonds and gold in diamonds. I was the first designer in the world to do, and I walked on the catwalk myself. So it was something really unique at the year 2000, which helped me a lot also my career, because I was, of course, I'm let's say small company comparing with the huge companies that are my competition in Paris, where I'm talking about the biggest in the world. So I'm doing my fashion shows side by side with the biggest companies in the world. So I always thought that the imagination, this didn't need being this huge company, so we don't pay taxes for the imagination. So this is one thing I always had. So in my life, I was able to do with a lot of imagination, and of course, it needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of quality and dedication. I dedicate all my life to this. So along this 21 years, I've done things that nobody has done, which is, of course, the first diamond, the most expensive bikini in the world. That's one. But I've done also, I was the first designer in the world doing a fashion show at the Eiffel Tower, up the Eiffel Tower.
Wow.
This is also something, it's not in the Guinness, but I was the first in the world. So this is not, it's not the French, it was really me. And the fashion is about capacity of being the first, to being unique, have a style. And that I think I am. I've never copied anybody. So when I arrived to Paris, everybody was saying in Portugal that it was impossible. I would never get in that world. But I arrived there with my own designs, unique. And that's what opened the doors for me, because I was no copy. I was original. I was me. And in Paris, there's this respect for these unique designers. And that opened the doors for me, and I'm there for 21 years. And of course, so many things in my life has happened. And I'm lucky enough to say that I do what I love. My job is my passion. And I live in Lisbon because I've decided to live in Lisbon. But I'm always traveling, and I've done shows, not only the 43 shows in Paris for 21 years, but I've been doing shows a little bit all over the world as international guest. And of course, in Portugal for 29 years, because my career is 29 years. International is 21, but in Portugal, I'm here for 29 years. And that's it. I do what I love. I do clothes for women, for men. I do all sorts of accessories. I do jewelry. I do home textiles. I have my online store now, which is working very well because now we are all closed. In Portugal, the shops are closed. The commerce is closed, but of course we have this online world now working, and my FatimaLopes.com is working very well. So this is my life now, a little bit different from last year because I was traveling all over, and now I'm here in Lisbon at my office. The pictures you see behind me is a huge wall with all the pictures of my career for these 29 years, whether in Paris or in Portugal. There's always a picture of catwalk or whatever. This is my professional life in pictures. And
wonderful.
I am a Portuguese. I don't say I'm from Madeira or I'm from Lisbon. I'm a Portuguese in the world, but who really prefers to be in Portugal.
Okay, we're going to get into that, but there's a few things that I want to dig into from what you've just been speaking about. One, I wasn't sure if it was going to be appropriate to speak about the diamond bikini, but you brought it up. So where is the bikini, Fatima? Where is it at the moment?
The bikini is in Belgium because it has always been, since the beginning, a partnership with a Belgian company called SD Diamonds. Okay. And of course, it was sponsored by this SD Diamonds, but it was at the year 2000, and of course we didn't have this online world that exists now at the time, and it was not so easy to get to the people around the world. But that fashion show was news all around the world, and it was very good for me, of course, but it was very good also for the SD Diamonds, who are my sponsors. They were my sponsors for many years, and it was fantastic for both. I always say that in life, it's very good when it's win-win, when both sides win. And it was not my first show in Paris. It was my third show in Paris. But of course, it was a way to Portuguese that arrives in Paris and is not known, of course, after 1 year and a half. It was my beginning in Paris. And suddenly, the fashion designer is a model walking at the catwalk with the most expensive and the first diamonds bikini in the world. So this was new. And of course, it will be forever on my life because everybody remembers that. And I will never hide because it's part of me. It's part of my life. It's back already 20 years.
People listening need to Google the world's most expensive bikini, and then you'll see Fatima.
It is at the Guinness Book of the year 2000. That's my picture at the Guinness Book.
Wonderful, Fatima. Another thing that you mentioned here is that you were the first Portuguese to be at Paris Fashion Week. Yes. You're the first fashion designer on top of Eiffel Tower. I didn't know that. That's phenomenal. That's amazing. How does it make you feel that you were the first, that you represented Portugal in this world, in this part of the world, and in a part where Portuguese hadn't gone before? You were almost like a navigator, like our old navegadores, the old navigators who went ahead before. You were the one for Portugal, but in fashion. How does that feel? How does that make you feel?
When you're born in an island and you feel like I always felt that I wanted much more. I wanted to know the world. So for me, the first step was to come into Lisbon, to the capital. And as soon as I arrived here, I knew I wanted much more. I wanted the world. So Paris was so important because I knew I could do it. I never felt any fear. Of course, I was young and a bit crazy, but I was never fear of anything. So I had nothing to lose. So I had the whole life in front of me, and I decided to jump. And I don't like to think, oh, what it is, because it's normal. It's my life now. It's something that I've done so long ago that I never think about that. Of course, I was very happy when at the year 2006, the president of the Republic, Portuguese, gave me this title of Comendadora. This was probably the first time I really felt what was representing my country. But I never changed. I'm the same girl, or I think I am the same girl who left Madeira Island to follow her dream. I'm older, but deep inside, I'm the same girl who always dreamed, who works many hours a day. I don't know many people who work as many hours as I do. So never less than 10, 11 hours a day. This is normal for me. Most of the time, 7 days a week. So what I feel is that I do what I like. I'm fortunate because of that. I have to thank every day. I don't complain because there's always somebody worse than me. Even in these terrible days that we are all living, I feel that I should not complain. We have to try to live the best as possible and say thank you every day, because I really have more reasons to say thank you than any other. So I like to wake up with a big smile on my face and spend the whole day saying thank you, hello. I will never be the star who finds too important, because for me that's really stupid. I always say that stars are in the sky and not every day, so only once a while. So I'm just a normal person who tries to be happy most of the time and tries to make everybody happy around.
Fatima, you mentioned that you're still the girl from Madeira, and as part of you is still that young girl. When you were a young girl in Madeira, were you already starting to think about fashion?
Oh, of course, since I was born. Because I never I used to cry when my mom used to buy me clothes and I didn't like anything I didn't want to wear. So since very, very, very young, of course, I didn't know that it was a dream to be a fashion designer. I didn't even know what was that. But I only dreamed with my dolls and the clothes for my dolls, and I used to love to draw I had to be something connected with arts, whether it was fashion or paintings or whatever. I had to be something with arts because I was born like this. So of course, being born in an island, I knew that it was very difficult. So all my studies were for tourism. So I speak English, French, and I used to speak very well German also, because of my studies were all for tourism, and I worked for 4 years with tourism. I was very happy. I traveled around the world as a agent, tourist.
Yeah, tour agent.
In English, and a travel agent.
Travel agent, yes.
I traveled a lot, and when I for during these 4 years, it made me feel that I could do it. I could leave Madeira, and as I couldn't do my dream in Madeira, so I would do it somewhere else. So these 4 years of tourism were, let's say, my lesson of life, and made me feel that I could do it. And so I left everything behind with no fears. I left my family. I left everything I had, and it was a good life. And to come here and started from zero. And I started from zero. So everything I have, it was really work, a lot of work. I always said it's half talent and half work. One without the other doesn't work. So, and still now I work every day. So it's of course with and now I feel that I don't have to prove anything to anyone. So what I do now is for me, for my pleasure, and of course for my life and my people that work with me. I have this responsibility, big responsibilities for many people, but I feel that I don't have to prove anything anymore. Everything I had to prove, I've been done all these years in Paris, and the moment I received the respect of the international press, so I knew, okay, you're on the right way. I can continue. And now in a different way, more mature, more secure, and try to be happy every day.
Wonderful. Take us, I mean, let's go back a little bit to a young Fatima on the island. Can you remember one of your first creations? Can you remember one of your first designs that you did?
Well, I used to do everything for me, even my tricot.
Knitting.
And I used to, but not well done. Even now, I cannot sew. That's not. I can design and organize, but my problem when I was a child was that those times there were not the information that exists now. So, and living in Madeira, it was a very small island, and fashion was not as it is now. Of course, Madeira now every day today has everything. Those days, of course, not. So I had to. My sisters and brothers would accept everything that existed. I never accepted. I didn't like. I wanted to cry that I didn't want to wear. So this was something that I think it was born with me. That's something that you don't learn. You don't go to a school to become a creator. You can go to a school to become a fashion designer. You can learn how to design, but you cannot learn to be a really creator, to have your own style. And that I always had. I never needed to ask, what should I wear? What should I do? And all these years of my career, I never asked anything. I know what I want, and don't even try to make me change, because this is the way I am. And if somebody doesn't like what I do, it's a pity, because this is the way I am. Of course, I have a big respect for the clients. And when I design something for a fashion show, it's not exactly the same that then there will be to sell, because I know that not everybody has models' bodies, and not everybody has the same age. So I try to respect and to go to my public, which now is very big. So I can have like young girls of 15 years old or 80. So let's say that it's it's different now. I don't work for the elites anymore. So I like to say that I work for everybody, and my designs can go to everybody.
It's a very Portuguese thing we do, that we are for everyone, that everyone can find a place and a fit. You spoke about how Portugal, you want to be in Portugal. When you do all of your traveling and you go to all these different places in the world, what are the things that you appreciate most about our country?
Well, so many things. I've been traveling a lot, and of course, being part of Paris Fashion Week made me spend long time in Paris. So every time I spend long time away from here, I feel, well, I miss the sun, I miss the light of Lisbon, which is amazing. So this light is very important for me. I need to wake up with the sun. This is very important for me. Gives me immediately good vibrations, good energy. The food is not, well, the food is very important in Portugal, but you can find good food everywhere. So for me, the most important is the warmth of the people, is the sun. I think Portugal is different from most. We are Latins, but also among the Latins, Portuguese are also special because we are really very warm, and we are not fake. I think we are real, and we know how to welcome people. And I need to be among positive people who are not complaining every day from everything which happens in Paris or wherever you go. Somebody is complaining of something, and I really hate that. Nobody's perfect. Nobody has perfect lives. But there's always someone worse than us. So we don't complain. We don't have this philosophy of complaining. So it's thankful what we have and welcome everybody. This is what I miss most when I am away. And I don't allow anybody to talk about my country, which if it's not for the good reasons. But I have to say one thing, which I started traveling very young, and I know an idea, an opinion of Portugal in the past and now. When I started in Paris Fashion Weeks, everybody would ask me, "You're Portuguese?" No, I don't believe it. Nobody would believe that I was Portuguese. And the things I did, nobody would believe that I was from Portugal. But because the idea they had from Portugal was so different. Was about the immigrants that they had especially talking about in France, because my biggest experience is in Paris, really. And the Portuguese in Paris were really the immigrants from the 50s, and the idea was so different. So the French, most of them was really ignorant about Portugal. So they would ask me so many times, are there Portuguese? Are the Portuguese girls like you in Portugal? And I was like, of course there is. So the idea that there was about Portugal was not a good one. And I remember when I started selling my clothes in Paris, I had to write fabriqué en communauté européenne, which is made in UE, so European community. I was not allowed to write Portugal because it would weakness my designs. This is 20 years ago. Now it's a complete change. So Portugal is in fashion. Everybody wants to know about Portugal. The French fell in love with Portugal. All the French I know come to live in Portugal because they say we have the sun and the sea. We have this this kindness that I was talking about. So I think French discovered Portugal, and they really all want to come here. So there was a Portugal in the past, and there's a Portugal now. And this is, for me, it has always been my Portugal, but I believe that the foreigners only discovered Portugal now.
Yeah. It's fascinating that you weren't able to write. I mean, how did it feel how did it feel when you were able to start writing on your clothes made in Portugal? How did that start? How did that feel to you?
Well, it's good, because it was stupid to have to write European community. And now it's the opposite, because if we write European community, people will think that it's East Europe. And it's like Portugal in the past. So now we have to write. It's important to write made in Portugal. It means quality now. So it's complete change. Of course, make us all proud, because in the past we were known by the best reasons. And now we are living a difficult moment now with this pandemic. But it's, I hope, short period of time, and I hope that very soon we will go back to be this country that likes to receive everybody, and that everybody fell in love lately.
There's a lot of pride in the way that you speak about Portugal, Fatima. There you speak about going back to Madeira to re-energize. You speak about the light of Lisbon that gives you good vibrations. How does this place inspire you to do what you do?
I think that a creator needs a creator like me, who likes to do beautiful things. So I'm not a painter who wants to paint crazy and awful things that many painters like to do. So I like to do beautiful things. So for me to be able to design beautiful things, which I like to make everybody beautiful. That's my life. That's my purpose in life. So I need to be well. I need to be happy. I need to feel very well. So I need the good energies. And I only like to have people around me who makes me feel well. So this is so important. When I start designing, and I design with my music, and this is the place where I design. This is the place where I like to be, in the heart of Lisbon, in the center of Lisbon. And all the collections have a different theme, so I've decided. I start always by deciding which will be, but I've done like when I celebrated 1 year ago, 1 year and a half, I celebrated 20 years of Paris Fashion Week, and it was the first time that I decided to be the Portuguese in Paris, because till then, I was the Portuguese fashion designer, but the international designer. So when I celebrated 20 years in Paris, so I did my first fashion show in the Portuguese embassy, and all the theme of the collection was Portugal. It was all about this Portuguese pride. I decided to show the sun, the sea, the everything that is typical from Portugal in a modern collection. I really put my life in there, my Portugal, my country, everything was there. And the music was fado. And people were crying at the audience. Some of the guests, because it was in a Portuguese embassy, and for the first time I had more Portuguese than it's normal, because there's always been international audience, and my guests, well, most of them international, but I invited like a few people from Portugal, and the ambassador, of course, is always present on my shows. But some of the guests were crying, because that was, and many people told me that was Portugal proud. I decided to really celebrate the best that exists in Portugal, and But of course, in this all 21 years in Paris, all the press has always wrote about me as the Portuguese fashion designer, which I always insisted that I'm Portuguese and not Spanish, because you know that in Paris, I'm known as Fatima Lopes, because no French could say Lopes. It's impossible. So I'm Lopez, and Lopez, they would think about Jennifer Lopez and they would think that was Spanish. So at the beginning, I was always saying that I'm not Spanish, I'm Portuguese. So all during this 21 years career in Paris, I've been always the Portuguese fashion designer.
Beautiful. Fatima, what are 3 things that you would like people to remember or to take away from our conversation?
Well,
Just 3.
You go to my website and you can see the history of my life and all my fashion. So let's say my website, fatimalopes.com. So if you go there, you will see a resume of everything we talked about here. Of course, that I am a Portuguese, proud of my country, and that you come and see with your own eyes, because it is worth it. Everybody that comes here really falls in love with the country. So follow my advice. Come and see that I am right when I say that we have this amazing country. You will love it.
I'm adopted Portuguese, so I'm a Portuguese citizen now. I'm originally from South Africa, but I'm the same as you. I get really annoyed when people say bad things about Portugal. they're not allowed to say anything bad about my country. So I love that. We live in an amazing place. It's a wonderful place to live.
It is.
We're very lucky. Fatima, a question that we ask all of our guests. Portugal, the simple life. Why?
Why? Because for all the reasons I already said. For a start, it's a small country. It's not a very big. For me, it's simple because I have everything I need. I live near my work, and I have this beautiful sun most of the year. I don't need anything that is not around me. So simple life, because people are simple. People don't take so serious as many other countries I know, and we enjoy life. We really like to be happy, and this is the simplest way of living well, and that's what I do.
Fantastic answer. I love that. I've loved this conversation. Thank you so much, Fatima.
It was really my pleasure. So we've been talking like two friends. We didn't know each other before, but we've been talking, and I really appreciate it. And if you want to continue knowing me better, so I advise you to follow me on my social, Instagram, Facebook. So it's Fatima Lopes, fashion designer. And we can be together not only now, but we continue. So join me on my Instagram and on my Facebook, Fatima Lopes, fashion designer.
We'll put links in the show notes of the podcast so people can follow you online as well. That'll be wonderful. Fatima, thank you so much. I've loved this conversation. It was really inspiring and happy and joyful. And for now, I'm going to let you call it.
That's a wrap.
So thank you once again to Fatima, and thank you to all of you for listening. Please subscribe, share with your friends, give us a thumbs up, and please leave a comment or a review. We'd love to hear from you. And as we say in Portugal, beijinhos. Welcome to the simple life.